line of code and then show it on the screen first. Okay, so first let's run this. Okay, now you can just see this, right? The output that we are seeing is object, 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 object. So basically this is the one, right? Yeah, because it is in the object format, it is not possible for the HTML to pass this object and then see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a property with the name list of contracts to display. Okay, to display. So I'll copy this. Okay, I'm going to use it in the code. How do I use it? We always have that property with this keyword, right? List of properties to display is equal to. Okay, we'll just say json.stringify. Okay, that's the method of. So which is the data that I wanted to convert into a string? So basically this line of code will convert an object to a string. Okay, so now what I can do is I can just simply show this right here. So what I can do is, this is the original one, right? So what I can do is list of contracts, I'll just say converted, just to make you compare the difference. Okay, I click deploy. Okay, yeah. So when you're dealing with objects, this is something that you need to remember. You cannot just like that show that as an output on the screen. It's not possible. Okay, yeah. So I'll go back now to the page. Okay, so now I have three things to display. Yeah, the first one is fine, Rajesh, Deepak, Sonali, Avinash. Second one, yes, objects, so it was not able to show the output, but third one did see the output, not show up the output. Correct? Yeah, it's a raw data, in fact, isn't it? Raw data, something that user cannot really understand anything make out of it, right? So this is where we will apply our HTML directive, the next concept of for loop. Okay, because I cannot just like that present this data to the user, isn't it? Yeah. So what I'll do is I will make it little presentable, okay, to the user. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back to the HTML. Okay, so let's use for loop directive. Okay, let's use for loop directive to loop through a collection of data. Okay, so we have the bunch of data right here. Let's loop it through. Okay, how do we do it? Fairly simple. Okay, so what I can do is I'll use a let's use a template. Okay, another template. Okay, we have within a template. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use something called for each. Okay, so just like how you loop through a collection of data in any other programming languages, right? It works just the same. Only thing is the syntax is a little different, that's all. So I'm saying that for each, okay, for each values in this list of contracts, so in this variable, right, in this property, okay, in this property, okay, I want to loop through each and every item in this property as each item is looped through. Okay, yeah, I want to store that item in a temporary variable. Okay, this entire record, right? When the first record is looped, I want to store that in a temporary variable. The second record is being looped, and I want the data to be stored in another temporarily stored in a variable. I'll give a name to the variable. I'll just say rec. I'll have a, you can give any name, rec contract. Okay, yeah, that's it. So now what happens is whatever whatever I'm going to write inside the template, it will run multiple times. Okay, it will run multiple times. Okay, I'm gonna use this code. Okay, I'm simply adding a div. Okay, and then this is an important thing. Okay, so what happens is whenever you use for loop, okay, there are three parameters important. One is certainly for each. Okay, that takes the list of collections to be looped through. Number two, for each item, you will just you will just have a temporary variable that hold the value. Then you need a key. Okay, you need a key that needs to be unique. So in this case, ID is unique. So I'll just go with the ID. Okay, you can also use any other unique unique, field name. That's our key name. That's all it is. Then you can access any values, using this rec contract. You can just see this contract ID is this. And what I can do is I can put the contract start date. Okay, start date. So what's the column name? The column name is start date, right? Copy that, put it right here. Okay, then contract end date. Let's display, all three. Okay, contract end date. Yeah. So I'll copy the key to access the value. Okay. Okay, that's it. Okay, this is how simple it is to use for loop. Okay, so again, I'm just repeating. So you will have when you have a list of data, right? So all you have to do is you just have to use for each directory to loop through the data, because of the reason, right? We cannot literally show this raw data to the user, right? Somehow we need to format the data, right, to make it little appealing for the user to see, right? So I'll also will make a simple attempt to loop through the data and then show it in a div. Okay, but there are much more better ways to show it. Okay, we will do that very shortly. Okay. So this is the for loop or for loop directive. Let's right click, let's deploy this and then see the output first, then we can fine tune this. Okay, super. So this is cool. Let's go back now and then refresh this page. Okay, so now you have this contract ID, contract start date, end date, again the second bunch of data, third bunch of data, correct? So it's far better than this, isn't it? Far better than this. But certainly, right, this is not how we wanted to deliver our final output, correct? Yeah. So let's make little tweaks. Okay, so this is where your CSS framework from Salesforce and the Lightning component, the standard Salesforce LWC components that come into the play. Okay, so I can write a bunch of code to bunch of code. I can write bunch of code using SCSS and then beautify this particular output. I can do that. Okay. Instead, what I'm going to do is let's tap into the web components. Okay. So that might help us to to show this in a much better way. Okay. I'm going to use one of the components that Salesforce has already built it for us. Okay, it's called Lightning Tiles. Okay, yeah, and there is a suggestion from Deepak as well. Put everything inside Lightning card. Yes, let's do that. Let's do that. Certainly, we will do that. Yeah. So that is this Lightning tile. Okay, so this helps me to show some data right in this format with this nice background with as a list. Okay, you can just see this right as an output. Okay, all I have to do is I just have to use this. Okay, just have to use this. Okay, let's try this lightning tile and then see how this is going to change the look and feel of our application. Okay, so I'm going to use this very simple tile. Okay, I'll copy this one, and then I'll go back to the code. Okay, so this is the original one, right? Yeah, I'll just wrap it right here. Okay, yeah. So so we have this class, that is fine. Let's bring this key to here. Okay, yeah, and then you have seen the error, right? So if I don't add any key, because this code it's going to run within this for each. Okay, so so what Salesforce says that no, you need to you need to add the key attribute for sure, without which you can't even deploy this code. If you try to deploy this code, right, it will throw an error. It will say that Rajesh, you did write a code. Okay, at least one key is there, right? Maybe that's the reason. I'll remove this as well just to show you. Okay, it will tell you, it will tell you that you can just see this, right? It did fail. It says that missing key. It tells you that I did write a code. Okay, I did use the loop directive, but I failed to add the key directive. Okay, that is important to remember. Okay, so anyways, I'll put it right here in the title label. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say this is going to be my let's add one more thing. Okay, besides description, everything, let's add account name as well. Okay, let's say this is palm tree industries. I'll add one more. Okay, just to make it little. Okay, this is neem tree industries. It is let's say this is Orion Industries. Okay, yeah. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to, I'm going to show the account name in the title. Okay. So let me not hard code this. I'll remove this hard coded part. How do I access, the values from JavaScript? Very simple, right? So we have this REC contract, copy that, put it right here, dot. This is the field name. That's it. We'll come to this href. Okay. And then now what we can do is we can give a title for this one. We'll just say contract ID. Okay. And instead of hard coding this, I'll use curly brace, the data binding concept. Okay, let's copy and then put this right here. Okay, I'll make small tweaks. Yeah, I'm gonna do the same. I'll copy this again, put it right here. So this time I'm gonna show the contract end start date. We'll copy this, put it right here, copy this, put it right here. Then we will have the end date. Okay, so same thing. I'll ensure the code is moved. Perfect, right? Let's remove this now. It's no longer needed. Super, correct? Yeah. Did I miss anything? There is something wrong with the HTML, I believe. No, updated design variable token. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I can still use the old one. Okay, so this is cool. And let's also add everything into a lightning card. Okay, so we'll go with Deepak's suggestion. Yeah, lightning card. Okay. Yeah, if you don't know the syntax, that's absolutely fine. Go back to our components. Yeah, so you will find lightning card right here. Okay, just copy that. Okay, put it right on your page. Remove unwanted code. I don't need these codes completely. I'll remove this one. Title, I'll just say this is learning HTML directives. Correct? Yeah. So inside which, let's move all the code, entire code. Paste. So right click, format with HTML features. So it automatically aligns this. What is wrong with this? That's for Raspberry design. That is fine. Okay, good. So one more thing. If you look at this lightning tile, right? Yeah. Where is this? Yeah, the div. That is a class. SLDS P around medium. What is it? Yeah, we talked about the CSS framework, right? To get you a to get the styles, styles applied to ensure that your UI, looks nice and appealing, right? Salesforce has its own framework, CSS framework. I'll copy this. I'll go back to this, lightning design system, and if you just search, you will find the either you can do this or you can go to Google and then simply just punch in that one. It actually takes you directly to that page. Okay, so basically this helps me with padding. Okay, so there was one of the participants, right? He did mention that CSS is a little tricky and it is complex, right, along with HTML. Don't worry, this is where you can learn. Okay, W3 skills is one, or you can also learn this from here. Okay, so because the underlying concepts are just the same: padding, margin. You want to repeat some colors, or you want to position something on your page, right at the bottom, right at the top, right at the left, or in the right, whatever it is. Okay, so once you start using it, okay, the more and more you use it, eventually it just gets into your mind. Okay, anyways, so this refers to padding. Okay, and the way how uh, Salesforce named the class, right? All the classes from Salesforce Lightning Design System starts with SLDS, Salesforce Lightning Design System. This ifn refers to the actual style. It could be margin. You want to leave some margin, or you want to apply some padding. Padding means spacing around, a particular element. So that's what it is defined, right? As a white space around your element. Okay. So to understand this better, look at this one. Look at the dotted line. And if I give this top none, or maybe I'll just go with top small, maybe I'll just large. You can just see this, right? If the padding on the top is given, right, x small, which means you are telling, sales browser that leave a small space on the top when you position the element. It could be a text box, it could be a button, or whatever it is. Position, when you position this element, leave a small, space on the top. That's what you are saying. Okay, the one that we are currently using in our code is this, isn't it? Yeah, SLDS padding around medium, which means there will be a space, across all the four sides. Okay, that's what around means. Okay, so that when you look at the output, right, you will find proper spacing exists between the elements, because you are learning, the three records in a loop and then showing it one below the other. So having a space, equal spaces, when you show the data, makes it little, aesthetically good, correct? When you see this on the screen, let's see the output. But before we do that, there is one more. There is LGC-B-BG. We don't have this kind of, right, class, isn't it? Because as I said, every class in SLDS starts with every class in Lightning Design System starts with this SLDS, right? But where did this LGC-BG came from? Where did it come from, right? Yeah. So it's a custom class. So the idea is when you build your Lightning Web Component, it is absolutely okay to blend Lightning Design System, the default classes, right? Salesforce has created for us already, right? And your own CSS class. Okay, I'll go and then, create a file. Remember, in Lightning Web Component, we always use the same name, correct? Inside the bundle. Okay, if you don't do that, your code, will not be referenced in the right way. Okay, so inside which, what I can do is I can just have this class LC LGC-BG background basically. Okay, let's start with dot. That's the syntax inside which you can just mention anything. You can just give a color, background color as, let's say, brown, something like that. Okay, but let's go and then cross check in our tile. This is where we copied the code, isn't it? I'll go to Lightning tile. This is where it is. Okay, looks like it is where it is. I'll copy this. I'll put it right in the code. Okay. Okay, looks like background color. They have given some RGB. That is fine. Okay, as long as we have this. Oh, just 1 minute, guys. All right, sorry, guys. All right, so we got this, CSS also added. Perfect. Right now, it's time for us to deploy and then test this one. Okay. I hope I did save all the files. Good. Everything is cool. Let's go back to the page, our org, and then refresh. All right, what do we have on the screen? Right, so now we see a nice background. Okay, now you can just see this, right? There is a background color and you can just see the look and feel, right? So okay, looks like it does not have any text in front of it, but it's okay. Palm tree, it is showing as a link, isn't it? Yeah, because I'm using Lightning tile in our code. Okay, that's the reason. Yeah, so ideally speaking, when I click on this button, when I click on this link, I should be taken to the account page. We will just, do a change in our code and then, see how we can navigate user to the actual account page. Okay. Yeah, so as an enhancement we will do it. So before I move further, I'll ensure that this is also added. Okay. Yeah, so that next time when we come here, it it will look okay. I refresh this page. Super, right? So this is nice. You can just see the padding. This is what the padding is. There is a spacing between, from the margin to here. There is a spacing between the first record and the second record, isn't it? This is happening because of this CSS class. Okay, so this is cool now. Okay, let's make it real. Okay, because we started this to learn to learn to learn HTML directives, right? To learn the for loop, to learn the if else condition, right? Let's apply this. Okay, let's apply this. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have a component developed. Okay, so this is the one. Okay, this is what we just did. Okay, the template for each. Okay, um, I will introduce. We'll come back to this use case. Okay, so our use case is this. Okay, so as a developer, okay, you have been tasked, okay, to show list of contracts that are due for renewal next month. Okay, yeah. So the list should be shown on the home page of sales manager. Okay, the home page of sales manager. Okay, so should give an option to the sales to the sales manager to select, okay, to select um excuse me, to select month, okay, to select month, and accordingly the uh, contracts due for renewal for the selected month, okay, should be displayed. Okay, there are two parts to it. Okay, first one is by default we will show whatever the contracts that are due for renewal next month. Okay, we will also give an option for the user. This is part two, to the sales guys, to pick a month. Okay, and user input, pick a month, and the moment a month is selected, we just wanted to show the list of contracts that are due for that selected month. Okay, if I just select November, then I should see all the contracts that are due for November 2024. If I just choose August, then all the contracts that are due for August 2024 should be displayed. Okay, yeah. So not only that, you should also should give an option for the user to navigate to the account. Okay, to the account from the list of contracts. Okay, from the list of contracts. So basically this is what I watch, this is the expectation. um, there is an account name, right? When I click on the account, I should be taken to the respective account page. Okay, and then should also give an option, okay, for the user to navigate to the contract record. Okay, contract record, for the user, give an option for the user, give an option for the user to navigate to the contract record. Okay, ensure contract ID is clickable. Okay, so right now in our just dummy implementation, right, this contract ID, this number is not clickable, right? So I want to make this also click. When I click, I should be taken to the what do you call the respective contract page as well. Okay, so let's do that. So in that way we'll learn lightning web component, navigation concepts, everything. Okay, yeah. So keeping this in mind, we are just going to jump in and then start doing our coding. Okay, yeah. So I hope this use case is clear. Okay, let's go step by step. Okay, now it's 12:05, right? Good. So very first thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the org, not org, to the code. Okay, I will be reusing some of the code. Okay, we'll come back here later. Let's close everything, and also we will certainly implement all the concepts that we did learn so far. Okay, I'll go right here, and I'm gonna create a new Lightning Web component. Yeah. So what's the name of the component? The component is going to be we are showing what are we showing? We are showing the uh, contracts, right? So we'll use camel case. Um, we'll name it as expiring contracts. Okay, yeah, expiring contracts. Enter. Let it get saved in the LWC. Okay. First things first. What do? We just enable this, right? Expose to true. Then we have to set the target. We have to set the targets, right? So of course I'll be very choosy. In this case, I don't want this to be available across anywhere in Salesforce except homepage. That's it. So now this component is going to be available to use only in the homepage. Perfect, right? Yeah, cool. Let's go to JavaScript and enter super. Let's go to this HTML. There is nothing, right? So let's start this. Okay. So how do we approach this? There are two steps to it. Okay. Um, is there a solution? Okay. So okay, step one, we need a way, isn't it? We need a way to retrieve the contracts, right? Basically from the database, isn't it? So the step one is you need an Apex class, okay, to get list of contracts. Okay, list of contracts. Number one. Number two, you need to call Apex from LWC. Yeah, that needs to happen, isn't it? Yeah. And then we need to what? Show the list of contracts on the screen. High level, this is on the page, correct? High level, this is what we need to do, correct? Yeah. Let's get to the action, and also we will learn a few additional concepts while we implement this. Yeah. First things first, I need an Apex class to get the contracts. What I will doing is, instead of me writing everything, I'll ask ChatGPT. Okay, just to save time. Help me with an Apex code that will be called from LWC. Okay, from LWC. Apex code should, or Apex method should return list of contracts that are due for renewal next month. Okay, output should have account ID, account name, contract ID, contract description. Okay, start date and end date. Okay, that's it. Let's see the output. Okay. Cha, 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 cha. Ah, interesting. It's giving me a complex code. I don't want this complex. I want this to be very simple. Anyways, okay, we'll just take whatever is needed from this code. Okay, yeah. So certainly I need to create a class, isn't it? So I'll go to view, I'll go to command palette, I'll create a new class. I'll search for Apex. There is an option to create a class. Let's click here. Okay, and let's give a name. I'll just say contract controller service, or I say contract controller class. Okay, that's it. Put this class inside the folder so that we can get our code organized. Okay, public with sharing, fine. This is gonna it's going to with sharing is fine because it's going to honor the sharing settings and everything. Okay, then I want to get this one created. Okay, so um, all I need is I just need contract list. That's it. Okay, I'll make it very simple. Okay, yeah. So what I'll do is I'll use try cache first. Yeah. Okay. So we wanted to make a call to a database, isn't it? To retrieve the list of what do you call um, list of contracts, correct? So especially the next month, I'll just take the code from here. Okay. Okay, let's see if this is okay or fine. Start date, it's using date dot today, add months one, that is fine. End date, blah blah blah. Wow, too many days and months. I don't know whether this will work or not. Let's try this. Account ID, no, it's going to be account dot ID. Description started from contact. This is cool. Hmm? Hmm. Okay, this is cool. I'll save this file. I'll deploy this. Okay. Okay, something is wrong. What is types cannot be constructed. Where is it? Exception. Hmm. Last thing we wanted to do is we just wanted to return this, right? T and let's return this. Return the contracts, probably the list of contracts. Okay, so now recollect, the concept that we did learn. When this Apex code returns this data, right? Yeah, if it has one, if it may have one record, it may have, multiple records, right? Yeah, so that data is going to be available in LWC code in JavaScript object format. Yeah, so I can throw this back or I can just make it null. Let's see which one works fine. Esma.
We need to declare the list of contacts outside the try catch.
It's in the try, right? Let's put this on the top. Okay. Then we can use this guy right here. Okay. Should be fine, I believe. Are you okay now? I think you should be able to, refer this one. If not, we'll see. Super. Done. Correct? Yeah. Can we test this very quickly? Yeah. Before even we move ahead and then, do this. I'll be quick right here because, I hope everyone on the call, knows how to create an Apex, how to, how to write your code, Apex code. Okay. So I'll just try this. Controller dot, what's the name of this? But do I really have data? That's the question. Let's try this. Okay. First, let's put this one. All right. System dot debug of done. Yeah. But before that, let's go and then check whether we have contracts in our system, our org. Contracts. Very nice. One, two. How many contracts are there? All contracts, just two contracts. Anything ends in next month. Okay, let's go here. Let's clone this. Okay, let me make the start date for this as this. Okay, and let's say contract term is 1 month. And instead of this account, let's say the concern. Yeah, let's say save. Okay, there is one contract, isn't it? Yeah. Let's clone this again. I'll have one more contract for another. Let's say sand clothing. Yeah. Let's go with this 1 month. Yes, and also it's a monthly labor contract. Okay, perfect. Let's create one more clone, and I want this to end in the next 3 months. Okay, and this is sand clothing. This is, let's say, edge communications. Okay, let's say this is service contract. Okay, let's click on save. Okay, so now let's see whether our code works or not. All right, that is some data, which is what we want, we really want to, to see. Correct? Good. So now, how do I call this? How do I call this, method? How do I call this method back in my Lightning Web component? Yeah. So this is where the wire adapters come play. Okay. Yeah. So talking about, let's do a quick, um, let's make quick notes. Okay. So talking about working with Salesforce data. Okay, there are multiple options. Okay, multiple options. You can use Apex, number one, or you can use something called Lightning Data Service. Okay, yeah, or I'll call it as, UI Record API as well. Hmm. So UI Record, API. Okay, yeah. So we will talk about this tomorrow, more because tomorrow we will use UA Record API. Yeah. That time we'll talk about the differences as well. So when to use Apex, when to use API, etc. Okay. In short, right? It's very simple. When you want to deal with multiple records, either insert, update, or delete, go with Apex. When you want to deal with only one record at a point in time, okay, go with this UA Record API or LDS. Okay, yeah, because it can't, right now the UA Record API or the LWS, right, cannot help you to deal with multiple records. Okay, yeah, so works best for multiple records. In this case, right, in this case, our current scenario, correct? Current scenario, it's a typical case where you might get one record or more than one record, right? So let's go with the Apex. That's what we did. Okay, so works best with single record. Okay, yeah. So you don't have to write much of code when you use this UA Record API, because Salesforce has written a lot of things for you. All have to do is instruct Salesforce. Hey, you know what? This is the record that I want you to fetch from, or this is the record I want you to insert. All such things you can, set it in a UA Record API. But in Apex you have to do everything. Okay, everything. That's what we are doing, but let's learn that. Okay, let's learn that. So I have my Apex code, correct? So how do I make it available for LWC to use, right? So all you have to do is you just have to annotate the method as Aura enabled. Okay, that's it. Okay, that's all it is. Okay, so now when you have a method that is Aura enabled, right, then it becomes a special method that will be available for LWC to use it. Okay, I'm also going to include another property called cacheable equal to true. Okay, the reason is it is a select query, right? Yeah. Once the data is read, okay, I can let Salesforce to cache the data so that the next time when there is a hit to this particular, Apex code. Okay. Salesforce, will not go to the database and then get the data. Instead, Salesforce will get the data from the cache. Okay, so in that way your page performance will be good. Okay, that's the reason I'm introducing cacheable equal to true as well. Okay, yeah, cool, right? So let's save this. Let's right click and then deploy. Okay, so now we did two things today, or now create an apex class, right? We what is wrong with this now? Okay, ex. Yeah, we did create an apex class, correct? We did check whether it works or not. It was working fine. Number three, we just made it available, right? Yeah. So now this method can be called from LWC code. Okay, from LWC. So now let's go to LWC and then see what it is. Okay, yeah. So this is my LWC code, right? This JavaScript, correct? So I'll split to right so that we can just do the coding side by side. Okay. So how do I bring this reference or refer this Apex code right here in my code? Okay. So the first thing what you will do is you will just use import. Okay. Yeah. So just like how Salesforce has written a lot of reusable code. Okay, for us to import and then start using, right? So there is a okay, we have to give a reference name. Okay, reference name. Okay, and then you have to say from. Okay, so there is a package, okay, from Salesforce, a bunch of JavaScript code. That's all it is. Okay, so the package name is at the rate Salesforce slash apex. Okay, so this is the package name. This is going to help you to access all the apex classes from all the apex classes in your org. Okay, and especially those classes that are that are annotated, or the methods that are annotated with aura enabled. Okay, so this is the one that I'm going to use. So behind the scenes a lot of code has been written by Salesforce already, but for us things have been made really easy. So use Salesforce at the rate Salesforce slash apex slash, it is case sensitive, so it will be careful. Copy that apex class name dot whichever method that you have annotated and you wanted to use it in Salesforce, right? Copy that, put it right here. This is step one. That's it. Okay. So I'm going to give a reference name. Okay. The reference name could be anything. You can just give any name. Okay. So I'm going to make it as, fetch contracts. That's it. Okay. Fetch contracts. That's all it is. Okay. So now you can just see this, right? This is how you import you just bring reference to the apex class. Okay, so reference to apex class method. Okay, yeah, in lightning web component. Now it is time for me to make a call to this method. Okay, so the this is where we use something called wire. Okay, so what is this wire? Yeah, think about electrical appliances, right? So you have your fan, you have your let's say table fan, right? So a table fan is a device, correct? You need wire to plug that into the socket, right? Yeah, it's more like a adapter or a connector, isn't it? That connects two, that connects or establishes the connection between two different entities. One is the socket that gives you the current. The other one is the table fan, right? Just like that. Okay, so you have a concept called adapters in JavaScript. Okay, it's not new. Okay, it's there right from the beginning, and Salesforce has customized it to a bit so that it's very easy for us to start using and build the components. Okay, yeah, I'm going to use this wire adapter. That's the reason I'm saying that Salesforce, can you import that wire adapter as well for me? Okay, that's it. As soon as it is done, okay, as soon as it is done, what we need to do is we need to go and then start calling this function. Okay, yeah. So this is my step two. This is my step two. Okay. So LWC and Apex. Okay. And this is my step one. In fact, right? We have to import wire adapter, right? This is my step one. Yeah. Import wire adapter reference. Okay. That's the step one. Yeah. Now step three is Step 3 is very simple. Okay, call apex. Okay, using wire and store the result into a local variable or method. Okay, so what is it? Yeah, what does it mean, store the result in a local variable or method, right? So talking about, the syntax, okay, of this at the rate wire, right? So the syntax is this. Okay, so what I can do is I can just say something called at the rate wire, then okay, apex method reference name. Okay, so you just make a call to the apex method reference name. Okay, then if you have some parameters, okay, yeah, then send input parameters in JSON JavaScript object format. Okay, so right now the method is not taking any input parameter, right? Yeah. What happens if you have a parameter? Okay, we can also send that parameter. Okay, in a JavaScript object format. We will see that tomorrow. Okay, we'll just first see this basic version. Then what you can do is use property class property or method to store the output. Okay, to store the output. Yeah, this is this is high level. This is how we do it. Okay, so let's apply this. Okay, let's apply this. Okay, as the syntax says, I'll just use at the rate wire. Okay, I'm gonna make a call to the method, right? Get contracts for email, but I will not use the direct name. Instead, I'll use the reference name, fetch contracts. Copy this, put it right here. Okay, this is not the end of it. This is not the end of it. So I'm not going to use semicolon to close this line. Okay, instead I'm going to use a method. Here it says that use class property or method to store the output, right? Or store and process the output. Let's put it that way, and process the output. What I'm going to do is I'm going to simply say, I'm going to simply use a method. It can be any method. Okay, you can just have a method name like anything. Okay, yeah. So where is this method name? I can just say I'll just say process output. Okay, or process contracts data, anything. Okay, contracts data, you can give any name. Okay, I'll have this method open up close, and then I'll have this one. That's it. Okay, and right here I'll just close this one. I'll close this one. So basically, that this is a one chunk of code. Okay, one chunk of code. So this wire will make a call to the database. Your database will do two things, isn't it? Either it will get you the data, or it will throw an error. Only two things possible, right? Yeah. Okay, if that is the case, how is Salesforce helping me here? Of course, Salesforce is helping you here because Salesforce says that you don't have to worry about the preserving the output data that is coming from the database, or if there is an error, right? You don't have to do any additional stuff. Salesforce says that use me, use these two system properties named data, comma error. Okay, and these two are system properties. Okay, system properties from system class, to put it right way, system properties that hold output, the output result, and also error, just in case, right? If there is an error, okay, error if any. Okay, so this is where Salesforce is helping you. Okay, and again, these two are system properties. These two are system properties. Okay, so please don't change the name of the property. It's going to be always data. It's going to be always error. Okay, just give me 1 second, guys. All right. So, now let's see what happens. Okay. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do some sanity check. I'm gonna check if there is a data. Okay. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say console.log. Let's print that data. Okay. Yeah, data received from Apex. Okay. Plus, I said the entire data is going to be automatically preserved in this data, right? Okay. I'll just say data. Okay. Yeah. And if not, what else could happen? If the data is not there, right, then certainly there is some error in retrieving the data, correct? So what I'll do is I'll just say else if error. Okay, I'm gonna print that error as well. Okay, console.log. Okay, error is it from Apex error. Okay, that's it. I'll save this. I'll first format this to to recheck the code. Okay, yeah, perfect, right? I think we are good. Three steps. One is to ensure that you're gonna import that wire adapter code. Then you're gonna have a reference to the Apex method. Number two, number three, we are gonna simply write an wire function and then make a call to that Apex method. So most important thing is the system properties. Okay. So if you just change this to data one or error to something else, the code will not work. Okay. That's it. Let's see whether this works or not. Let's right click. Let's deploy. Okay. Fingers crossed. Let's see. If it works, then it's a matter of reusing the existing code and then complete this. Okay, yeah, so done. Let us go back now to the org. Let's go to the home page. All right, let's go and then edit the page, bring the component and then see the output. Okay, so I wanted to go and then check the custom component expiring contracts, right? Let's go drag and then drop it right here. Okay, nothing is showing up. Okay, let's save this because our HTML is blank, isn't it? There is nothing in the HTML, correct? Maybe that's the reason it's not showing up anything. But let's go back. Okay, there is nothing. But let's go to the inspect and then see. Mhm. There is something, right? Data received from Apex, object. You can just see this, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, there is something. So remember this. How do we fix this one? This object thing. We did learn that, correct? Just a few moments ago, correct? So because the thing is, whatever is coming from the database, right? It's an object, correct? Or bunch of records. It's going to be perceived as objects, correct? So we will just use the JSON.stringify, okay, to convert that into a string, correct? Save this. Right click, deploy. Okay, cool. Now let's go and then refresh this page and then see the console.log. Just see if we have an output or not. Okay. All right, I'll right click, inspect. Let's go to console. Now you can just see the output, isn't it? Yeah. The ID, account ID, description, yearly labor contract from the Dickinson. This is sand clothing, monthly labor contract. Perfect. We got the output from the database, correct? See, this is how simple it is to make a call to the DB and then and then receive the data. Okay, so now you can able to connect the dots, right? Why did we learn this JavaScript objects first, and then why did we learn this JSON.stringify, all such things, isn't it? Yeah, good. So let's spend another 5 minutes to complete the code. Okay, then I'll take any questions that you may have. Okay. So the extension to this is, right, we have to introduce the month as an input parameter so that we can tweak the output based on the month, because right now this is only fetching the current month or the next month, right, data, but we wanted to make it a little more um, changes or enhancements. Yeah, anyways, I'll go to the HTML. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring the lightning card just to make the look and feel good. Okay, yeah, so let's do that. So we'll have this lightning card. Okay, title, let's give expiring contracts. Cool, right? Yeah. And Where is our code? The for loop. I'll do this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce some properties, okay, to hold this data. Okay, so I'll have a class property and I will name it as LST expiring. Did I spell it right? Expiring contracts. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I am going to, yeah, step 4, assign apex result to class property. Let's do that. So this dot expiring contracts is equal to your data. Okay. So whatever data is coming from the database, I'll just assign it to expiring contracts. Okay. So now what I'll be doing is, remember that HTML we used this one. Remember for loop direct. Let's copy that guy, put it right here. Okay. We have to make little changes here and there, then it should be okay. Okay, so what is the list that I wanted to, I wanted to loop through? This is the one, right? List of expiring contracts. Perfect. Okay, then I have this is fine, this is fine. There is an ID, isn't it? So if we go back to the page, go to the console, this is the one, right? I'll copy this code. I will use JSON online editor. Where's JSON lint? Okay, yeah, I'm just using this just to, to see this, because I don't, we can't, if there's a lot of data, right, then it will be difficult for you to read it from the, where it go, yeah, if it is difficult for you to, read it from the console. Okay, so that's the reason I'm doing this. Come on, go away, please. Why are you still here? And now it's readable, right? So I have this ID account name as key and there is a value, right? So if you look at this, it looks pretty much, same as the the list of JSON objects we created, right, in the beginning of our training, right? So what I'll do is I'll go back now to the code. Okay, so okay, this is going to be, there is no change here in the key ID. Account name, so basically the account name is, I have to go into this one, account. Okay, and then dot, go into this name. Okay, and if you don't, if you don't know why am I using account dot name, go back to your controller file. So this is how the column name is referenced, right? Account dot name. So we have to use the exact name or field name of the column name. Okay, so that's the reason I'm using account dot name. Okay, for the contract ID, it's going to be ID start date. Let's see what is the name. So the SQL query, we gave start date, yeah, and then date. I think both are, all these things are good, perfect. I believe so. Okay, so not only this, I'm gonna do one more thing. Okay, remember the the if else condition that we added. Okay, yeah. So what I would like to do is, okay, I want to add one simple, what do you call, statement. Okay, so I'll have inside the card, I'll have another template. Okay, another template. Okay, and I want this template to be shown if true, yeah, to be shown. I don't want hard code. I wanted to use data binding concept to show only if this has some data. Okay, yeah, if this has some data. Okay, so I'll just say if true, then show the list of contracts. Okay, I'll move this for loop inside this. Okay, perfect, right? Let's align this just to ensure that it works fine. Okay, did I deploy? Hmm. Anyways, I'll just format this as well and then deploy this again. Okay, so I have one HTML directory if loop. Okay, so this is just for, sanity check. If there is no contracts, right, then why do I have to loop through and then show the data? I can conditionally show this only if there are contracts to be visible on the, with the contracts, retrieved or so. Okay, that's it. Yeah, then we have this for loop, which also we did learn, correct? um, Good. So this is fine, right? Let's now see the output, and then we can, I'll take any questions that you may have. Okay. So save this. Did I miss anything? Oh yeah, I did miss something. I will create a CSS class. Yeah. Dot CSS. Yeah. Remember the CSS that we used. I'll copy that, put it in the CSS. That's it. I'll just deploy everything together now. Super. Let's go ahead and then do that. Let's close this. Let's come back to the page. Let's now refresh this page and then see. All right, now we got the two contracts ready, isn't it? So now this the look and feel also, pretty okay, isn't it? Yeah. So I have this header and then I have this list of contracts. The only thing is, as an enhancement, I should bring in an option for the user to choose a contract, correct, or the month. Accordingly, the data needs to change. We will do that tomorrow. Okay. So now let's open up the forum for questions. Okay. So to do a quick recap of what we did. Okay, we started talking about working with Salesforce data. There are multiple ways to do it. So today we picked up, Apex calls, right? So which is fairly easy because Salesforce, has got something called wire adapters. Okay, so using this wire adapter, we can make a call to an Apex method, right? But there are a few things we should remember, right? So one thing is your Apex method, right, should be annotated, right? Annotated with at the rate aura enabled, correct? Aura enabled, number one, right? And what else? I think should be fine. Yeah. And also remember the system properties, right? The moment you use wire adapters to make a call to an apex, Salesforce is helping you here, with that, with holding by holding data that is returned by the apex inside this data property. In case of error, it will be available right here. Okay, so you can show a show toast message. There was a question from one of the participants the other day: how do I show messages or error messages, right, in a toast format? We will make some changes to this code as well tomorrow. Okay, we'll make more changes to the code tomorrow to learn more concepts. Okay. Yeah. So for now, I believe we have 15 minutes for questions now, right? All right. I'll see if there are anything. I can't remember like this. Where is it? I don't know. Where did I stop? It's a JavaScript code. For Deepak's question, it's a JavaScript code. This is fine. Iterator should be a dynamic. Iterator will give you more option. Okay, as in only one option rather. I'll just, instead of saying more, it's same like, for each, but iterator will give you an option to loop from the first record to the last record or the last to the first record, which you don't have this in the for each. Okay. Yeah. Concept of refresh apex. Okay, so this refresh apex concept is very closely related to what we just did. Okay, so what we just did is to increase the performance of our page, right? We made this output of this, particular method cacheable, right? Okay, so what happens is when when this particular method is called for the very first time, when this expiring contracts LWC is loaded for the very first time, it goes and then in the line number 19, it makes a call to the Apex method, right? It goes and then makes a call to the DB, and then it's going to cache the data. It's going to cache the data, right? So it's going to cache the data, correct? So this is happening because the next time when I refresh this page, right? When I refresh this page, where is it? Now the data is appearing. When I just refresh the page again, because the data is cached, okay, Salesforce will not make another DB hit. It will not make another, it will not, do another SoQL query call and then, show me the data. It will bring the data from the cache. Okay. But the question is, what happens, right? When there is a data load behind the scenes, right? When there is a data load by some other admin with new contracts data into the Salesforce data, that data will not be available for you to show right here. Okay, because this is a cached data that is shown, correct? So Salesforce, okay, Salesforce certainly will keep a tab on any change that happens behind the scenes to the contracts data. Okay, but it takes some time for Salesforce to realize that somebody else has inserted some new contracts, okay, behind the scenes. I should show the latest data. Okay, for maybe I'll put it this way. I'm seeing the contracts right here, right? Let's say you are also an admin, you made a change in the contract start date. Okay, start date, in your login. Okay, so will this show the new data or the old data? In most cases, the old data. It will take at least 10 to 30 seconds, sometimes a minute, for Salesforce to refresh the data and then show the latest content on the screen. That is happening because we cache this data. Okay, and we to Salesforce to decide, okay, to check on if there is any data update happened in the if there is any change in the data. Okay, accordingly it decides when to make a call to the select statement again or not. Okay, and this is where the refresh apex come into the play. So using this refresh apex, right, you can take you can control. Okay, you can instruct Salesforce that you need to check whether the data is stale or the latest data. Okay, and then if it is stale, make a call to DB and then and then get the latest data. So that's where this refresh apex concept come into the play. Okay, so it's hardly a couple of lines of code. That's all it is. You can get this done. Okay, yeah. I'll see if I can able to show you that code as well tomorrow. Just in case if I forget, just remind me. Okay. Calling. What calling should be Aura cacheable? Not sure what it is. Can you share the mind? It is already there, Deepak. I just ping the link as well. It's viewable. Anybody can. It's public. Anybody can just do that. Why we cannot embed Aura inside Live? Because the framework is completely different. Okay. In Aura, what happens is if you have an Aura component loaded on the screen, right? Yeah. So while it is loading, okay, it gets compiled, it gets rendered. Two things happen: compilation and rendering. But LWC, that's not the case. The compilation happens first, so that only the rendering happens. Okay, so that the browser can cache those files. Okay, that's the fundamental difference between Aura and Lightning LWC. That's the reason you know um, you cannot embed Aura inside Lightning Web Component. Okay, the way how it compiles, the way how it renders, both are different. Okay, mind map is there. Okay, based on early web standards. Okay, that's a different question. Okay. Uh, in which case you okay, we just talked about that refresh apex. Just as a developer, you take the control and then you let Salesforce to check every time whether it has stale or update, or a latest one, right? You can just do that, just hardly 2 lines of code. Okay, if possible, I'll just do it tomorrow as well. LWC notes, where is it? Which one? Oh, you mean this one? This is the one. What else? No, what other notes? Okay, this 5 minutes. So this, I believe we are talking about this one, right? Okay, we will do that. After tomorrow's session, we can certainly do that. Why we use constructor in Apex for this use case? The constructor, whether you have it or not, anyways, the constructor will get called, Dalit. Okay. So having a parameterized or no code in the constructor is not going to make any harm with that. Okay. Yeah. So you can remove the constructor as well. That's also okay. Okay. Yeah. So it's not mandatory. That's what I'm saying. Okay. Wire concept, 1 second piece, Aman, right? Okay. So basically, for you, you could think of this. Okay, you want to connect your Lightning Web Component. You want to make Lightning Web Component and Apex to talk to each other, right? Yeah. So this is where the wire concept come into the play. Okay. So wire as a concept, it's there in JavaScript, for a long time. Okay, and Salesforce has made it very easy for us to use. That's all it is. Okay, but for wire, okay, so all you have to remember is it helps you to connect your Lightning Web Component and Apex code. That's all it is. Okay, how do we do it? 3 steps, just 3 steps. Number one, import that wire code. Okay, wire code, because Salesforce has written that wire code everything for you. Okay, so we'll just import that. Number two, you want to make a call to an Apex method, right? Yeah. So just refer that. For that purpose, we are using @apex package. This is also nothing but a bunch of JavaScript file. Okay, that's step two. Once that is done, we will use @wire as a syntax, and then you just pass the method name to be called. That's it. So when you make a call to the method, okay, so you can read the output. Yeah, the output would be either records or error, isn't it? Yeah. So you will just add a function. It function name could be anything. It can be aman as well. Okay, that is also fine. Aman process, contractor, whatever it is. Just have a function. That's a syntax. Okay, that's all it is. It's a syntax. So call the method, have a function created. Okay, it's a simple function. We just knock everything off. It's a simple function. If you knock this right, yeah, inside the function is simple method. Okay, that's it. Yeah. So what you do is you just use system properties data and error. Okay, because Salesforce is holding the data for you that is coming from the database. Then we are simply right checking. Okay, it's a simple sanity check. If data is there, if data is found or not. Okay, if yes, then we are assigning that to a local variable, and this local variable is used in the HTML to to show the output, right? That's all it is. Okay, again, if there is an error, we just wanted to print that error. That's all it is. Okay, so but high level, a wire helps you to connect your Lightning Web Component code and Apex. That's all it is. Aman. Hope that helps. Yeah, please share this use case and code as well. We will do that, Sagar, for sure. Tomorrow, after tomorrow's session, we will do that. Why we need Aura application to embed LWC inside Visual Flow? It's a tricky one. You are using Aura embed LWC inside VF page. Okay. So not in every places, right? LWC code can be used. For example, if you are creating a global action today, something that you wanted to show, LWC is not supported. That's what I was just trying to say. It's not supported in certain places. Where is this? Uh, if you wanted to create a global action, something like this, right? You cannot just create a lightning web component. You cannot add a lightning web component as a global action. Okay, it's not possible today. Okay, so that case, what we do is we create a aura component. Okay, we also create a lightning web component. We do all the code in lightning web component. Just as a wrapper, we put that into a aura component, and then set the target for aura component as global action, and then just we use it. Okay, so cases where LWC is not supported today, we will just go with this aura and LWC hand in it. And cases scenarios where we in fact tell our customers to migrate to LWC as soon as possible. Okay, because for various reasons, performance, complying to web standards, all such things, right? So what we do is when there is an enhancement comes to our plate, right, we try to do that in LWC. Okay, for an existing customer that is completely that customer is completely using, let's say, aura lightning component, aura components, right? So what we do is we slowly migrate everything into LWC, and then put that into, and then create a aura wrapper which will have no logic at all. Okay, just calling an LWC, that's it. Okay, so in such cases as well, we just put this LWC aura hand in it. And in cases like where you have legacy customers that are still using VF pages, right? Yeah, then it becomes a little tricky, because we don't want to do coding in VF page these days. So we build LWC, and then we use Aura as wrapper, then put that in VF. So that's how it works. Okay. So only in cases where we need to really want to support the legacy code, we do that. Otherwise, go with LWC. Other cases, okay, places where like global action where LWC is not supported, right? Go with LWC and Aura, where Aura just acts as a wrapper. Okay, a trial link for additional practice. Okay, we will give that. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. I will give that, Subhajit. Okay. If you want to return, I would like you to give a try, Vishnu. Okay, it's a very good question. What happens if I just use map instead of list? Okay, try this. The same code. Okay, try this. Okay, use the same code, the simple one, right? Try the same code instead of returning a list. Use map and then see. Just use the print and then see. Anyways, your output is going to be there in the data. Okay, just do a console.log and then see the difference. Okay, come back tomorrow and then tell me how it works. Okay, yeah, just give it a try. I can do that, but I want you guys to get your hands dirty. Yeah, so just try this once and then let me know. We will do that, Lalit, for sure. For sure we will do that. Difference between wire, API, reactive decorators. All these terms are all these terms that you will hear all the time in lightning web component. Okay, but there is a difference. Difference as in, wire, which we have seen, basically for making a call to a method, isn't it? Yeah, method that in turn makes a call to database. Okay, a method. Okay, that method could be an Apex method, that could be a method that Salesforce has written, but your lightning web component needs to make a call to an external method, and that method in turn makes a call to the database. So that's where the wire works. Okay, so your decorators, we will see public properties concept tomorrow. That time I'll explain decorators. Okay, there is something called at the rate API, which is mainly for communication. One component wants to send data to another component. Okay, or for example, let's say we decided to build this opportunity counter, right? Yeah, this one. Okay, think about this. So this is a lightning web component. How does this lightning web component know, hey, this is the opportunity ID? Okay, and this is the close date. Okay, accordingly the numbers should the clock should work. How does it know? So this is a component, simple lightning web component, right? Yeah, if I go to other opportunity, according to that, according to this opportunity, the close date of this opportunity, right? Oh, this is closed. It says close date lapsed, correct? So how does this web component have the intelligence about the current record? So the current record page has to send the opportunity ID and the close date, right? At least the close date, so that this will show the timer or it will show this message, correct? Yeah. So this is the communication that I'm talking about. Okay. So you need to use this decorators concept. Okay, to get this communication enabled. Okay, from a record page to a lightning web component, or from a flow to a lightning web component, or from one lightning web component to another lightning web component. Okay, but at the end of the day, if you want your lightning web component to receive data from outsider, that's where the decorators come into the play. Okay, we will do that tomorrow. Okay, yeah. Reactive, whatever we have been doing so far, right? When you create a property, this list of expiring contracts, right? All these are called reactive properties. Okay. Earlier, we used to do something like this. We used to, say at the rate track, just to say that, just to instruct Salesforce that, can you watch this particular property for me for any changes? Okay. If there is a change in the value in the property, okay, this component that we are seeing, right? Yeah, will re-render. Okay, will refresh again with will refresh again or re-render on the page. Okay, so that's why the term it's called retrieve. Okay, so the component has to react to the changes when something, some value, changes. Okay, but you don't have to worry about these days. Okay, because if you look at this, the old code somewhere written in 2019, 2020, or 2021, those days, right? We had to annotate, we have to use this alternate property. But now all the class properties are reactive. You don't have to worry about it. The framework itself takes care of it. Okay. Okay, whenever the value changes, okay, this entire, and this, at least this component, right, gets refreshed. Not the entire page, but this component gets refreshed again or rendered again. Okay, yeah. So that's where the reactive concept come into the play. So again, so it's Ram Reddy Prasad, right? Yeah. So each one is a different concept. Yeah, so we'll try to cover as much concepts as possible tomorrow. What I'll do is I'll get the code ready, so that we'll spend less time on the code. Okay, I'll show you the code and then explain what it does. Yeah, so in that way we can able to cover more ground tomorrow. Yeah, components, communication, decorators, etc. All right, so with that we are also on the top of the hour. Any other questions from anyone before we wrap up, or
Hi,
before I hand it over to Anand? Sorry.
hi Rajesh.
Yeah, go on please. Yes.
Yes, so I have one scenario. I have one method in LWC to pull out the details of any Salesforce object.
Uh-huh.
let's say related child data of any Salesforce object in
Uh-huh.
LWC.
Uh-huh.
So I will be doing this with the help of wire adapter with
Yes.
cacheable equal to true that
Yeah.
we have seen in
Yeah.
this session,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So now what I'm doing is I'm performing some logic with that data
Uh-huh.
and let's say updating the child records
Hmm.
using asynchronous code.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Hmm.
now at the end, I will be getting success response
Hmm.
from this updation operation, and I will be refreshing the data property using that refresh apex, right? Um, so I will be refreshing the data property that which I was using under wire method.
Hmm.
So now
Hmm.
my question is, will I be getting cached data every time or updated data after updation or every time after loading the screen? I mean the possibilities, um,
Hmm.
the
When you
behavior.
say asynchronous, right? What operation you are doing asynchronous way? Is it like changing the?
I am just updating some fields on the child records.
Okay, you are doing an update. Okay, and then once it is updated, you are showing the data again, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, the chances are more that you will see the latest data. Okay, yeah, chances are more that you will see the latest data. Okay, if you don't see the data, okay, then you can just introduce that refresh apex line of code, okay, to ensure that the latest code is coming. Okay, because you're doing an update, you are fetching
Mm.
the data in the same lightning web component, you are doing an update using the same lightning component, again showing the data in the same lightning component, correct? Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, it's all
Actually,
the same component. It's not like two different components. Everything is happening in the same
right,
component, isn't
right,
it?
right.
If that is the case, the probability of seeing the latest data is much more. It's more because whenever you read the data, you just hold the data in a property, correct? And then you show that on the screen. Then you update the data. Then also you make a call and then you make a call and then read the updated data, correct? And use the same property, I presume, to show the data on the screen. So because the the properties are reactive in nature, you should be seeing the latest data. If you are not seeing the data, then go with refresh apex. Okay,
Yes, yes. Okay, Rajesh.
just 3 lines, not even 3 lines, 2 lines of code. One, two, three, no, 3 lines of code. Just 3 lines. I'll show you tomorrow. Okay, I think it's there in my channel. I don't. I think I did talk about this in my channel. Anyways, I'll show you the code. Okay, I'll show you the code for sure tomorrow. Yeah, because there are more questions around refresh apex, right? So this time you'll get clarity more. Hmm?
Definitely, Rajesh.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Super,
your time.
super. Anything else from anyone before I hand it over to Anand?
Yeah, Rajesh, I have a question.
Yeah.
Currently, there are two contracts that are getting expired, but what if someone does data load, uh,
Ah,
insert some data? So how
yeah,
do I
yeah.
come to know that latest one? There are few more things that are getting expired.
Yeah, most of the time, right? The because of this caching, okay, you might not see the
Uh,
new contracts, right?
Correct.
That were loaded behind the scenes, right? Immediately, okay.
Yes.
Might take 20 seconds or 30 seconds for Salesforce to realize that, oh God, there are some new changes happened in the DB, so I should burst the cache and then show the latest data. Might take 20 or 30 seconds. If you don't want to, you don't want to wait for that, right? Then the refresh apex, whatever we just talked about it, is the answer to it. Okay,
Oh, okay.
because there are a lot of questions around refresh apex. I'll do it tomorrow for sure. Okay, to start with. Yeah. So
Okay.
Lavanya, we can see it together. Okay, how to write the code for it. Yeah.
Sure, Rajesh. Thank you so much.
Super. Okay. Any other questions from anyone?
I think no. Any questions?
All right. Super. We're also top of the hour. I'll hand it over to Anand.
I
Over
think
to you.
Rajesh Anand is today out.
Oh,
So
okay. Okay. Yep. Sure. 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 Sure.
we'll
Okay.
drop the session. Maybe today's session is very detailed one and very helpful. So many persons are asking detailed
Super.
questions. So you are giving a very detailed explanation. That is really interesting. So yeah, we'll meet tomorrow.
Sure, guys. Yeah, we will meet tomorrow, same time at 10. We will start the call at 10. Okay, and then
Yeah, as you mentioned, yeah,
we'll
you
try to cover
mentioned
this
right.
as well.
You
Yeah.
you can ready maybe code ready. Then we can explain one by one. Maybe
Yeah. 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 I will do that. Yeah. Thank
that
you
will
so much,
increase your
everyone.
time. Yeah.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Anand.
Rajesh.
Thank you
Thanks,
all.
everyone.
Enjoy your weekend. Bye bye.